Your nervous system is deciding the level of wealth, level of abundance you are able to hold. Most people want wealth, they want higher level of income, but they think they have to work harder, they have to have more strategies, they have to do more things in order to create higher level of wealth. But that is not true. Your body has already decided the level of wealth and abundance you can hold because your body keeps the score. And that's why the nervous system is the decider on the level of wealth you can hold. And this is where most people get stuck. They do everything externally, but internally, there's something going on that they haven't reflected on, they haven't worked on. And this is why they cannot expand their capacity for wealth, for abundance, to create that next level. They are actually able to create something from a place of certainty, from a place of expansion rather than contraction. And expansion and contraction is huge when it comes to nervous system. We are going to go deeper into that. If your nervous system is not ready for next level of wealth, then how are you going to create it? So I want you to imagine that somebody who has gone through certain challenges in their childhood or certain belief system around money or the way they were treated or the way they felt unworthy, the way they felt unseen by their family, by their friends, by their siblings. And because they felt unseen and neglected, they kind of created that disassociation from themselves that is not safe to be me. It is not safe for me to express my emotions. My emotions are not valid. These are all subconscious patterns and programming happening within a person. And when somebody believes that their emotions are invalid, they are not seen, they are not heard, subconsciously they start hiding themselves, they start contracting, and their nervous system starts living in that unsafety. And that unsafety, it believes it's safe to be unsafe. This is key to understand. Your nervous system, when it's living in that dysregulation, that contraction, it actually believes that it is safe to be unsafe, to live in survival. The reason being is that because it is familiar. When the pain is familiar, when the neglect is familiar, when being unseen is familiar, for your nervous system, it feels safe because it is familiar. Even though it is unsafe, it is survival, but it feels this is the only way I can be safe. Because what if I become seen and people abandon me, people reject me, people do not like me, right? So your nervous system, your body is holding on to all of that. Any little thing that happened in your life, your body is holding on to that. That's why your body keeps the score. Your nervous system holds all that information within to keep you in that loop. So you can work harder. You can try all the strategies. You can try to market yourself everywhere. But if you're in contraction, you will sabotage the opportunities because of that contraction. And why that matters? It matters because awareness is the first point. Until we are aware, until we know, I did not know that I was in dysregulation when I was operating in dysregulation. This is why I share that so that you become aware, because awareness is the first step towards healing, towards regulating, towards expanding. And that's why it's important. But there is not one level of self. There are multiple layers within us. There's a different level of self. And I'm going to explain that to you so that you know what does that look like. If you can see that, and what I want you to know, there is different level of self. So ultimately, our higher self, the self that is deeply connected to our divine essence, that is the version of ourself that is whole and complete and it has it all. There's a different level of self that we are holding on to. So it's not just one self, there's multiple self. There's a self that is a future self, people who are always living in the future, or they're always thinking the future will be better. They're always kind of escaping the now and they're living in the future. They're always thinking the future will be better, but they are not doing anything today to change the future. Their bodies is still holding on to the pain. Their body is still operating in survival. Their body is still holding on to all the wounding or conditioning that they had, but they escape the now because the future feels brighter. And that is very dangerous. If we are always in our future self, then we are escaping the now. We are not completely congruently embodying the version of us that we want to be in our future. Does that make sense? That's why it is more of escapism, and a lot of people live in their future self. And other part of ourself is the past self. A lot of people live in their past self. They think what has happened to them is defining them. That is their identity, what their parents did, what their family did, what kind of experiences they had, how their boss treated, how the environment they came from. That is a defining self. That is defining who they are. So they live in that past pain over and over, and then they keep living. So when somebody either living in future or past, they are disconnected to their true essence. They are disconnected to the true essence that actually creates that level of wealth, abundance, that creates higher level of self-belief, higher level of self-love. They are disassociated and disconnected because the one who lives in the past self, they are constantly in that victimhood. They are in pain. They are in suffering. They are deeply attached to their story. And the one who lives in the future self, they are so affected by their past, they don't even want to remember it. They numb themselves to live in the future self. I hope you can see it clearly. But some people also, they live in past and future both. They keep reflecting. Either they are attaching themselves to their pain or escaping it by thinking about the future. That's why manifestation practices sometimes don't work. If you are holding on to the pain, you can visualize as much as you want, but you cannot visualize yourself out of that nervous system that is dysregulated, that is in survival, that is moving from pain and suffering. You cannot outdo through your visualization. We must release the deeper core wounding in order to create the full embodiment of your whole self, your true self. That's another part of self. Then another part of self is pain body. Eckhart Tolle talks about pain body a lot, and I love that because pain body is the part of us, the self that is embodying the pain of the past, that is embodying what has happened. And a lot of people operate from pain body. They get triggered, they get frustrated, they get defensive, they get sad because they are operating from the pain body. That nothing works out for me. Everything is hard, everything is difficult, everything is challenging. So when somebody is operating from the pain body, again, they are not operating from the self, the truth, the light, the essence, that who they are. Truly, deeply, divinely who they are not connected to that. Then there's energetic body. Our emotions, our nervous system really creates our energetic body. The signal that we send to the universe, the frequency that we operate in based on our emotion, our pain body, and our nervous system, that is the signal that goes to the universe to really tell where we are and who we are, whether we are in lack, whether we are in expansion, whether we are in contraction, and universe just matches the frequency we are holding. And this is why the frequency work, the energy work is so important, to release that, to match the frequency of desire, not match the frequency of pain. So that's why the energetic body is really key, because we are energetic being. We are first energy, vibration, and frequency before we are the physical body. Before we are matter, we are first energy, then the matter was created, then the body was created, the physical form was created. So energetic body is really, really important. And all of that nervous system work or deeper work is required in order to move from that frequency and energy that magnetize wealth, visibility, and impact from a higher level. And then we have the ancestral self, the generational conditioning, the generational trauma, generational belief. That is also part of our DNA. On a cellular level, we are holding on to our ancestral belief, our ancestral conditioning, and all of that creates what you experience. So this is why when we are working towards creating higher level of wealth, income, we must take in account where our body is, how our body is operating, because most people are focused on the mind. They are focused on mindset and visualization and imagination. They're disconnected from their body. And your body is the source of miracle. Your body is the source of your subconscious. So we must really allow ourselves to release these level of self, the different level of self, to really embody the whole self, the self that is whole, that is complete, that is our higher self. We must embody that, and we must release these patterns and programmings that are not serving us. And this is why I say that it doesn't have to be trauma with capital T. It doesn't have to be a bigger trauma. Sometimes something smaller can really deeply impact and become an invisible block to the level of success or the level of wealth that you are allow yourself in your life. And I'll give you an example of mine. There's something else that I'm going to share with you shortly that is really, really powerful. But before that, I want to share this story. I have shared this story before, but there's something deeper that I haven't shared, and I want to share that with you so that you really, really know how even a smaller thing, but for that time it was a bigger thing, but ultimately looking back, it wasn't that big, but let me explain what was going on and how it impacted me in me creating that higher level of success for myself, and how that was such a tricky and such a deeper thing that was happening. So when I was 14 years old, I participated in that beauty contest. I did not have any awareness at that time. What does that entail? I went to that thing just thinking that, oh, it's just something fun. I just have to walk on stage and it will be fun. I will dress up, I will look pretty, and I will walk on stage, and that's it. That's how far I thought. I did not think about anything, and I just submitted the application. I was selected. Okay, yes, I'm participating. Amazing, great. So one of my best friend also participated. She was my best friend since I was 3 years old. I knew her since I was a child, and we were really, really close friends. We used to go to each other's houses. My best friend had older sisters who knew makeup, who knew how to dress up, and they were very aware of fashion and all of that. Where I came from a very sheltered background, very shy, very timid. Nobody knew in my family how to do makeup or how to do fashion thing. So my auntie, she dressed me up. She did not know how to do things. And it was a very basic makeup, nothing special, really bad hair, horrible hair. So hair and makeup was terrible. But I am very tall and I was very skinny back then. So anyway, she participated. She looked incredible. Makeup was perfect, hair was perfect, everything was perfect. And she participated, I participated. Anyway, I only thought about until walking on the stage. And when I was walking on the stage and I did my thing, and I was like, oh my God, I'm done. It was fun. It was good. But then they called. They were like, okay, we're going to select top 10. And that's when I started freaking out. I was like, what? Like, I did not even think about it. As a 14-year-old, I had no idea about that. I was like, okay, I did not even think that I will be selected because my hair was terrible, my makeup wasn't perfect. Anyway, when they called in top 10, they called my name. And I was freaking out, and I didn't even pay attention to my friend at that time, but they did not call her name. So she was not selected in top 10. I was selected in top 10. I went on the stage. They asked me questions. I froze because I did not prepare. I did not know. I had no idea. They asked me questions, the judges, and I did not speak. I was frozen. Could not say a word. And basically, then somebody said something, the moderator, and I blurted something out, and everybody laughed. So I freaked out so much. It was the most humiliating experience for me as a 14-year-old, and 1,000 people were in audience, and they were all laughing at me. It was horrible. So anyway, that happened. And as soon as I came out of the stage, I saw my friend. I went to speak to her, and she kind of brushed me off. So she stopped speaking to me because I was selected and she wasn't. She expected to be selected. She expected to win, but she did not make it top 10. And then she stopped speaking to me. So that memory did not occur to me until a while ago when I was going deeper into my own psyche, deeper into my own subconscious. And this thing came up, that idea of, and it was so subtle, I did not even remember that. It was so subtle. That's why I'm sharing with you that idea of that if I become successful, if I become famous, people will leave me. That's what was underplaying within my subconscious, because my best friend left me because I was selected. She rejected me because I was selected. And then after that, she never spoke to me. We broke off. She did not want to know me anymore because she was not selected. So that really affected me, and I did not realize then how deeply it affected me until I started doing the deeper work, until I started creating wealth and abundance, and until I started working on my business. That thing came up so strongly that created that block for me, that if I become successful, people will reject me. People who meant to love me will reject me. So being successful is not safe for me. That's what my nervous system learned. It is not safe for me to be famous. It is not safe for me to be successful. This is what I've never talked about, and I wanted to share that with you so that you know how subtle that was. Even though for a 14-year-old girl who had her friend all her life suddenly stop speaking, it's a big deal, but it did not sink in as a big deal at that time. It only kind of occurred when I started doing the deeper work. This thing came up that actually I was blocking because I felt deeply that I will be rejected by people who love me, by friends and family who meant to be there for me. They will not be there for me because if I become successful, if I become famous. So I was internally blocking becoming successful. These are the things were in the way for me to really step into that version of me that is creating massive amount of abundance, massive amount of success, and holding on to that level of self that is operating from higher self. And I trust this example really tell you it's not about the most traumatic events. It can be something very, very subtle that can really create these invisible blocks that we have no idea about. Until I did the deeper work, I had no idea about. And this is why I do the deeper work with my clients, because the kind of things comes up, you have no idea the kind of things come up that they never even think about, that is not even, they don't even remember. But when we go deeper into subconscious, things starts popping up that they were holding on to, that they were not aware of. And that's why it's important. By the way, I've created a really powerful masterclass that's called Million and Miracle. That masterclass goes deeper into all the concepts around how to really open yourself for Million and Miracle. And if you would like to have access to that masterclass, comment below miracle and I will send you that masterclass that is available that goes even deeper. But other thing that I want to talk to you about in order to really deeply understand how important it is for your nervous system to be ready for next level of wealth is the energetic blueprint. Our body carries energetic blueprint, and based on that energetic blueprint, we either attract, magnetize, or we reject and sabotage. So I want you to remember that our energetic blueprint either attract, magnetize, or reject and sabotage based on how we are operating and how our nervous system is operating. So in order for energetic blueprint to change in manifesting your deepest desire, in order to create that level of wealth, there's something needs to kind of change within your nervous system that allows your energetic blueprint to change in your favor. Instead of working against you, it will work for you. So that's contraction versus expansion. Your nervous system is either operating in contraction or it is operating in expansion. And based on that, your energetic blueprint is created. For example, the nervous system that is in contraction is when you're operating from worry, when you're operating from fear, when you are operating from doubt. That is all contraction. That is not belief. And this is why in my program, Divine Wealth, we go deeper into wealth consciousness and shifting into wealth identity, because the idea of creating wealth has to come from a very expansive place. If it's coming from fear, it's coming from lack, if it's coming from, oh, I have to have it, otherwise I'm not worthy and enough, that is contraction. I have to be successful, otherwise I am not worthy human being, I'm a failure. That is contraction. This is why it is so important to create wealth from a calm place. If you move around very wealthy people, they are very calm. If you go to luxury places like 5-star hotels or even higher end, higher than 5-star, like really high affluent places, they are so calm. They are the calmest places I have been. But if you go to the street or like a market on the street, it is chaotic. There's a lot of people, there's a lot of chaos. Why? Why there's a difference when wealthy and affluent places are very calm? Even if you go to like high-end brands like Gucci, like Chanel, the places are calm as anything. Like everything is calm and relaxed. But if you go to like I don't know, some market, like a dollar store, it is chaotic. Energetically, there's such a difference, and you can go and see the difference yourself, how different it is energetically. Why? Because wealthier people, they operate from very calm place because they know how money flows. They make bigger deals. So for them, thousands of dollars mean nothing. For some of them, millions of dollars means nothing. They can really be open to losing it and creating it. They are in expansion. They don't mind risking millions of dollars in shares or in trading. They don't mind. They're constantly investing in those things. And they're okay with losing it because they are in expansion. They're okay with it. They're calm. They're not panicking. They're not having a breakdown. And some people do. I'm not saying every wealthy person. Some people do have a breakdown depending how they are, how they feel, and how they operate. Really depends. But ultimately, on a really highest level, they are very chilled. They are very chilled. They deal with the bigger amount. They are very calm. When you are in contraction, people who are worry about money or operate from fear, they get scared about investment. They get worried about even few $1,000s because they are in contraction. And that's why it is important. You don't have to have a lot of money to be in expansion. You can be in expansion. It's a choice. It's a deeper work. And I have a client who invested in higher level of work with me. Initially, when she came to me and we went through the work, the first time she invested in herself, she had a lot of fear and she was worried, but she was ready for the next level. So she went ahead with it and we did the deep work, and that really served really well for her. Her investment was stuck for years and years. That kind of shifted pretty much within a month, and she got her investment after we did the deeper work. She got the amount more than she expected. And not only that, she was able to buy a house. And when the second time, when she was ready for even higher level of investment, and when we did that, she said, you know what, Sadaf, I feel so calm. The first time I invested in myself, I felt so much fear, but now I'm so calm. And that shift was huge because she's no longer afraid about money. She no longer worry around wealth and abundance. And that is the shift. That is expansion. She started operating and she operates from expansion. She no longer worries and she's seeing the shift in her reality so powerfully because she's not worried anymore. She's not scared anymore. She does not worry. She's open to receive. And that's what expansion does. Also, contraction is also connected to inner child wounding or deeper wounds around what has happened, the trauma with capital T, or smaller things that create invisible blocks. All of that creates contraction to keep you where you are. Nervous system will not open from contraction. It will not open. Doesn't matter how hard you work, doesn't matter how hard you try, it will not open. It will not expand. But when you move into the energy of trust, you move into excitement, you move into love, you move into gratitude, you move into that quantum creation, the creation that is created from the idea that it is already done, the idea that it is already yours. When something is already yours, you do not worry about it. You do not fear it. You do not question it. You don't doubt it. That's when you are in expansion. When you truly deeply know something, when you know that you will be fed this evening, when you know that you have a roof over your head, when you know that you are going to pay your bills, when you know that you are living a comfortable life, you are not contracting, you are in expansion. When you know something deeply. So, how can you know the higher level of wealth? How can you know that you're worthy of millions? How can you know that? Not just imagine it, but actually know it deeply. That is quantum creation. You move into the knowing, you move into the state of being that already knows. And when you operate from that, you are in expansion because there's no fear, there's no worry, there's no doubt, there's no kind of questioning that is it possible? Is it going to happen for me? No, because you know. When you know something, you know something. You don't doubt it. And when we have the wounding, then we are in doubt, we are in fear, we are in contraction, we are in separation. Contraction is actually separation from your whole self, your higher self, your divine essence. So every time you fear, every time you worry, you are actually creating separation from your whole self, the one we talked about. You're creating separation from higher source, from the universe. You're forgetting who you are, how source, universe, God has created you. And until you realize and recognize that you are part of it, you're not separate from it, you will no longer be in contraction. You can do the deeper work to release the wounding in order to create higher level of self that is embodiment of wholeness and completeness. And when you are able to do that, when you are able to move from that, that's when your nervous system is ready for next level of wealth. That's when your nervous system operates from expansion without fear, without doubt, without judgment, without rejection, without abandonment. And that's why it is important to work through it, important to release it so that you move from expansion, from ease, from calmness, from peace. Doesn't matter what amount that is. You want to be calm around money. You don't want to be panicking around money. And that's why the deeper work is required. That's why people who are always holding on to their money tightly, they are in contraction. They believe somebody going to take their money away or they're not going to have more. That is contraction. They are not aware of higher supply. The abundance frequency is supply through divine. And we are connected with that source, that creator, that we are being supplied directly from the creator. We are in expansion because we don't worry. We don't hold tight. We don't say, oh, I'm not going to get more money. I have to hold on to it. Otherwise, what would happen? I need my safety net. I need money for rainy days. These are all contraction. These are all doubt. These are all fear. And a lot of people operate from that. And then they wonder why things don't work. They don't work because they are not operating from expansion. They are not operating from higher level of faith and trust. They are not operating from higher level of self-belief and actually that faith that I am being supplied from God. When you truly know that you are being supplied from higher source, why would you hold on? Why would you save for rainy days? Why would you have the safety net? The safety net says, if I don't have a safety net, I will fall. What is that frequency? What is that energy that I am not safe? If I don't have a safety net, I'm not safe. Not safe from what? What are you not safe from? What's going to happen? Nothing happens. Trust me, I walked that path. Nothing happens. I'm still alive. I'm still speaking. I've quit my job 3 years ago and I did not have any safety net. And 3 years after, I'm still here, alive, actually doing much better than I've ever done in my life. And this is why I can tell you it is not true. It is an illusion. It is a limitation. It is a contraction. And that in that state, your nervous system will not expand into higher level of wealth and abundance. So if you are ready for deeper work where you actually shift into that higher level of wealth to move into that identity of wholeness and completeness in order to create higher level of wealth, visibility, and impact, you can click the link below to apply for my mentoring. Other than that, like this video if you like this video and subscribe to my channel. And may the light in me reaches the light in you.